Jamesy, how are you doing?
I'm
What's up,
good.
dude?
I'm good. Good to see you, Josh.
Good to see you too, buddy. You've been popping up on my social media a lot recently. Yeah, you've been posting clips. They're funny stuff, man. Always. You know, I'm always a fan of yours.
It's been a long time. I was doing your show back in the day, that old show you used to do at that venue that's not there anymore off of Santa Monica Boulevard.
The Unknown Theater, the most important venue to my life. That's crazy. That dude, and you know what it is now? It's a Scientology center. It's like a recruiting center where I think they like waterboard people.
Of course it is. People don't realize this. Scientology is the final phase of gentrification.
They buy it up.
Then
they put the cupcake shop. They put the cupcake shop there.
It's when everybody's already been pushed out. Then they're like, well, let's just make sure the last human beings aren't here. It's just us.
If you were gonna join a cult, which cult are you going for? Which one could you see yourself getting the most? Yeah, I mean, you know, I feel like there's a thing that I could get into.
That's a good question. Arguably, I was in a cult, so maybe I'm not in a hurry to now.
Do tell.
What cult?
Well, it was just a local church that was kind of clingy, you know.
Mosaic.
You know how it works. It wasn't them per se.
But it was a. Is Mosaic a cult? Because it feels like it, just because it's like all beautiful people and it's right there. And it's such prime real estate, right fucking there on the corner of La Brea and Highland.
Yeah,
which is like, I mean, is it Highland? No, La Brea. How could that never work? La Brea and Hollywood. I'm sorry,
Hollywood,
Jesus, yeah. Josh. Yeah, you don't want to go into it because Little Walter was in a cult. We'll talk all about that later.
No, he wasn't.
Now, you're here. You're promoting something. Tell us what's going on with you. Let's get into that. Let's get into you. I'm so happy to see you. Like, what's going on in the world of James Adomian? What are you working on?
Well, my special is out, and so I'm focused all about I'm getting that out. And it's The Path of Most Resistance. It came out on 800 Pound Gorilla.
Nice.
On their website this month. And there's like a wide release for rent and to buy and to stream on September 19th, Path of Most Resistance. At that point, you'll be able to watch it everywhere that's not a TV network. So I'm having a lot of fun promoting that, and
nice.
It makes me laugh, and I'm seeing a lot of friends on their podcast like you. And you know what, Josh? There's nothing to get me through a time of hard work like this, like a great album.
Yeah, you ain't lying, brother.
How's that for a transition?
I love it. If everybody, but I'm going to say this before we get into the episode. James has always been one of those comedians that I respect. I love your material. I love your point of view, and I love your voices. You've always been, I think, probably there's another guy that's doing voices that he can suck my balls. That guy, you are the fucking truth, dude. You're the man. I'm not going to say the other guy because you won't say the cult. I won't say the other guy, but I'll just tell you this: a lot of people don't like that other guy.
Well,
either.
You wouldn't have heard of this cult. You know, it's just like one weird church.
It was just like you went to church and was like, hey, we're having a party over at my house, and you went over there and they tried to sell you like Amway or some shit. You're like, whoa,
no,
there is a freaky shit.
I want to rile them up and have them come after me, that kind of thing.
Okay. Now, moving on. Jeremiah, is there any cults? Jeremiah was in a cult. It's called.
I was raised in a cult, but it's Episcopalian church, so not that big of a deal.
Yeah,
right.
Catholic light.
Are we talking about? Does Groundlings count as a cult?
I mean, kind of, dude. I mean, what would be like, you know, in comedy, what would be the most culty cult thing in comedy besides, like, you know, the people that moved to Austin, Texas, like that kind of, like, I wouldn't even call that a cult, but it's just like the way of Rogan. It's just like, oh, you follow him, you know, the cult of Crack 'em Up Thursdays.
Well, it is what they're, I mean, they're not, he wouldn't be hiding it with the name like Mothership, right?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Like,
if I was going to be in a cult, I don't know, man. You know, I don't know enough about cults. I really don't. What was the Satanism? Maybe. Maybe, I don't know. I mean,
you know what I would love? I would love one of the great cults that's like up in Oregon where they're like, no one get photographed. The master doesn't like his image to be captured. I want to be like Pacific Northwest, white robes.
Yes.
A compound. Whenever you have a compound, you know they're after you.
Would love a good compound. I look great in robes. Get ditch pants. With or without underwear. Who knows? Sex. I want a sex cult.
Sex cult.
Got to be able to fuck, you know,
do it right.
Like, God, you got to fuck. And, you know, if it means that me and my wife, we have to fuck the master sometimes, or at least she has to, you know, do I get to go hang out with the other guys while they're going to fuck, or do I got to like take over her jobs? Because if I get to hang, Duddy, go.
You can get a harem too. I mean, be optimistic.
It doesn't look like the other guys in cults are getting ass the way that the master is getting ass. The master is getting ass.
Neither one of us imagined that we would be in charge of the cult.
No, we're low levels. We're the guy. We're like Short Round in like the Bond movies. You know what I mean? Like we're the henchmen. We're not praising the word.
From Goldfinger.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Short Round is actually Odd Job. Yeah, Short Round is from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Speaking of compounds, they're both compound names.
Is that true? I don't know. I'm not very smart, dude.
Odd Job. Yes.
Oh, go watch James Adomian special, everybody. Goddamn, dude, I'm such a fan of you. I got, you know, it's funny, dude. I you know, you're probably on the podcast circuit, so you're doing a bunch. You know, we've been on a little break. I was in Los Angeles. I was in Vegas. I've just been, you know, I just got in literally last night. And then it's any of the nights that I have lack of sleep of a travel day. I always have the most amount of shows, you know, that night. And I had like 3 in the last. Yeah, it's always like that. It's always, oh man, I'm so tired. All right, well, here's 3 shows, all good spots. And the last one's at 1 a.m. And yeah, so I got in, and I'm feeling right now. I'm kind of like I can't fall asleep, so I've been watching a lot of the Alien movies. I watched Alien vs. Predator Requiem last night, the worst of the Alien movies. But woke up early, and it's funny how tired I was getting into this. Like, oh man! And then the second I see you, I immediately just go, oh, this is going to be a fun one. And what? How can I not? We're talking cults. Within the first,
we are the cure for jet lag. It's this. It's 2 guys at the top of their intelligence, but they're not that smart.
Not at all, dude. Not at all.
I forgot you're in New York these days.
I am in New York. Yeah, I moved to New York in May of 21.
I'm also going to be there. It's been 3 years. I haven't been there in 3 years, like the longest time away from New York in my life.
Well, you were like there. The staple. You were a New York staple. Like you were. I mean, you started. Didn't you start here?
Briefly. No, yeah, I didn't start there, but I lived there briefly.
Yeah, I just know that, like, you know, I always associated you with New York for some reason. You know, it's something I never. And not. This is the segue. This is gonna get us into the episode because there's a guy that's like, dude, you've been on this. You've been doing for 10 minutes. You talked cults. You haven't once mentioned. Little Walter was mentioned in passing. How the fuck did you end up on this episode doing Little Walter? And that's not an insult to Little Walter. That's not an insult to you. It's just, I never would have thought James Adomian, slow blues glide. Slow blues glide. Not even guy, glide. Slow blues glide. That's hard to say.
Good question. I mean, you booked me.
You picked the fucking album, motherfucker.
Yeah. I said I was available. And I knew of most of the albums you had. So yeah. I mean, this one I used to hear on the radio sometimes. I actually did go through a phase. I was of this like blues from the late 40s into the 50s. When I was young, I got into it through Willie Dixon and so forth, because I was a big Led Zeppelin fan.
Oh, I love that.
I was a big Led Zeppelin fan, so I actually was like, oh shit, where'd this come from? And like pulled out all, got the albums and listened to them and stuff. And I don't think this is like a direct. I don't think Jimmy Page and Robert Plant directly stole anything from Little Walter. Maybe a harmonica solo or something, but
sure.
But that's how I discovered this world, and I used to hear it on the radio, on 88.1. No, on 95.5.
95.5. Which was that? That was the LA station.
KLOS.
Oh, KLOS, yeah. I never was a radio guy in LA. On
the weekends.
I was a radio guy back in the Washington D.C. area. Oh, dude, WHF Festival is back, Jeremiah. I don't know if you know that, but HF Festival is back.
I heard
HF Festival. Cool. I'm trying to get my agent to book me as a host for one of the things. It's not going well.
You were trying to enter your radio phase.
Pardon?
You trying to enter your radio phase?
Not a as on air. There's a huge festival that Jeremiah, me, and all of our friends. I've known Jeremiah, the guy in the corner. I've known him, dude, 35, almost. I'd say 35 years. 35 years I've known you, and this is the most we've ever talked today. this is the most we've ever talked ever. Yeah, dude. No, but there was a festival in Washington, D.C. There was a radio station, 99.1 WHFS. It was like the alt radio station, but I wouldn't even call it alt. It was just alt of mainstream. Like DC 101 was the rock station, 98 Rock. This was kind of like they would play The Cure and they would play The Smiths, but they would also, play Smashing Pumpkins, shit like that. And they used to have a festival called HF Festival that was the basis for Coachella, Bonnaroo, all of those festivals kind of, it was basically you can have a festival. Lollapalooza took from HF Festival. That's a better way to say it. Yeah. And then, and then the radio station went defunct. And then one morning we all woke up because it was the best station. And then it was La Raza, the Mexican salsa station. And that was it. La Raza.
That happens over and over again. It happens all over LA, but then nobody, the Anglophone and white people don't complain when it goes back the other way. When a Mexican station turns into a English language station, everyone's like, well, justice has been restored to the U.S.
It's something feels right here. I love that. I love that. You're a fan of the Rolling Stones, of Led Zeppelin, but even if you're a fan of the Rolling Stones, I mean, if you're a fan of rock and roll, this will bring you to Little Walter. This will bring you to slow blues. I'm surprised. I'm not surprised that you're a fan of it. Are you just a normal researcher? If you're into something, you just go the deep dive, and if you're watching a movie, you go to IMDb.
I used to more than I used to. I'm lazier and less intelligent as I get older. But when I was young, I used to be like, well, why not get to the root of everything?
Sure. I feel like Little Walter. So here's what we're doing today, everybody. We are talking about the best of Little Walter from 1957. I didn't know who he was. I had no idea. I'd never heard of this guy until this came up. And then the second I listened to this record, I was, like I said, this is Americana. This is the basis, what I feel, of American blues. First released in 1958, the compilation album contains 10 Little Walter songs that appeared in the top 10 of the Billboard R&B chart from 52 to 55, plus 2 B-sides. This was the first LP record released by the Checker record labels in general. His sound was more modern and up-tempo than the popular Chicago blues of the day, with jazzier conception and rhythmically less rigid approach than that of other contemporary blues harmonica players. And Ben Harper inducted him into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And what he said was, "What flesh is to bone, what sorrow is to tear, what bravery is to fear, little Walter is to the blues." What do you think about that?
Wow. So like a powerful opposite is what he was saying.
I mean, it's look, I also just love that Ben Harper was the man that introduced them too.
It's cool.
You know, it's crazy. Like, you know, when you find something like this, and it's so funny for you find it, you know, how old were you when you got into this?
It's just, those were powerful words for Cleveland, Ohio. We're talking 19 and 20 years old when I was listening to this. Now, I was reminded because of what you just read. Chess Records was the label that it's on.
Yeah.
And where were they based in? Were they based in like New Orleans or Memphis or something?
We have to check on that, Jeremiah. You want to find that out?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because there was a lot of good stuff from that record label, and I remember having
Chicago.
They were in Chicago too. They were. I had the Chicago blues sound. I remember I had some Chess Records compilations. So at some point they must have gotten sold off, and like, you know, so they were re-released back in the late 90s, early 2000s or something. But there's a couple of hits from this album that I remember hearing on a compilation, for like a Chess Records compilation or something. But like some of these are well-known songs.
Yeah, I agree.
Today, and it's remarkable that it's from the late 50s, because it sounds like it's like more recent than that. The recording quality, it must have been cutting edge. It must have been cutting edge back then. Obviously, it was, but it sounds like it's made 10 years after it is, because it sounds like the sound is very crisp and clear.
I mean,
and I don't know.
Good.
Also, he was like, his microphone is on mic. I mean, his harmonica is on microphone. There's something about the setup of the microphones that's like better than recordings that were just a couple years before. It's crazy. This album is as old as my dad.
Yeah, man. I know.
Well, no, it's like the year he was born. But he was an innovator, or part of a small group of people that were like, if not the one that was like very big in the microphone amplified harmonica. Mm-hmm. The way it was played and played afterwards.
Yes.
Before that, it was more like, it sounded like how to say this. It sounded like it was in the background. Like if you go back far enough, in the early 30s or something, if you listen to what's his name, Robert Johnson recordings or whatever, but every instrument sounds like it's not being recorded.
Sure, it's just but there's
literally everything's in the background.
There's that crisp in the air that
right.
Every recording is.
I love that sound, but at some point people were like, what if we put a microphone next? What if we put microphones next to the people playing the instrument?
Yeah, why don't we get closer to the thing that's making the noise? Well, it's funny that you say that. So, all right. So this is a little career arc, and this will tell you about his harmonica. Arriving in Chicago in 46, he occasionally found work as a guitarist, but gathered more attention for his already highly developed harmonica playing. According to Chicago bluesman Floyd Jones, Little Walter's first recording was an unreleased demo recorded soon after he arrived in Chicago, which Walter played guitar backing Jones. Jacobs, reportedly frustrated with having his harmonica drowned out by electric guitars, adopted a simple but previously little used method. He cupped a small microphone in his hand along with the harmonica and plugged the microphone into a public address system or guitar amplifier. He could thus compete with any guitarist volume. However, unlike the other contemporary blues harp players such as Sonny Boy Williamson and Snooky Pryor. God damn, I love the names.
Great name.
Great name, Snooky Pryor, who had also begun using their newly available amplifier technology around the same time solely for added volume. Little Walters purposely pushed his amplifier beyond their intended technical limitations, using the amplification to explore and develop radical new timbres and sonic effects previously unheard from a harmonica or any other instrument. People call him the Jimmy. Yeah. People call him the Jimi Hendrix of the harmonica. I'm curious who you would think is the Jimi Hendrix of comedy.
Ooh. The first one to plug in. I don't know. The first one to like hold a corded microphone. Because at a certain point, if you go back, this is a fun question. If you go back in comedy long enough, the mics are just stationary, right?
Yeah,
where they're hanging from the ceiling or they're fixed in a certain place on the stage.
Yeah.
So who's the first person to prowl the stage with a microphone? I don't know. Probably who's Jesus? Milton Berle? Phyllis Diller? The answer is not going to be what you want it to be. Don Rickles.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was hoping you were going to be like, oh, who is a groundbreaking, like, who's pushing the limits, who's setting the stage on fire, like, and then you're like, well, if we're talking about how the amplification of the harmonica,
all right,
yeah, take it there. Don't take it to the fucking literal thing that I just said.
All right, who's the Jimi Hendrix of fucking comedy?
Who do you think it is?
The Smothers Brothers.
Really?
No, I can't think of any analog to it at all.
Sure. I'll take Smothers Brothers could work.
Smothers Brothers were like, we're brothers. Oh yeah. Get that war out of my head. Oh brother, yes. I'm gonna stop that war.
I think they were a little bit past all that. Are you talking about the Vietnam War? I feel like what you're singing is like more like an ode to like those World War II like hymns from like radio days with Woody Allen, where it's like, we got the boogie woogie bugle boy the company.
I love that shit too. No, I meant the Smothers Brothers just were there, like they were at that time of the like we're being subversive with a song. It's actually an anti-war anthem. Sure. I love now we're on a side note. I do love I love that 1940s sound where every hit song from the late World War II era it sounds like a train leaving a station. They were the only thing they knew how to make a song sound like was like make it sound like a locomotive departing the station and slowly picking up speed as it leaves Chicago for New York.
Train music.
and all the harmonies said the words at the same time.
9 people singing the same line. Who would I say is the Jimi Hendrix of comedy? Lenny Bruce? Would you say like maybe like a Lenny Bruce could be the Jimi Hendrix of comedy? Someone like that, like a Carlin.
I have a more literal Michael Winslow.
Oh shit! I've never seen this.
I've seen this. This is
what's happening. My name is Jimmy, and yeah.
Oh, he's gonna do it.
What's happening? It's just a loose jam, it can be one thing just jamming, so it's just a loose jam. Happy anniversary to Woodstock, and just congratulations on the excellent festival you did. So,
how's he doing that?
What's happening, bro? I'm gonna dedicate this song to Bob Dylan.
How the fuck is he doing
this? So let me see. Let me get ready here.
And what he's doing, cut it off. What he's doing is cupping the mic, and he's doing the Little Walter style of recording. That was actually a perfectly played clip. How much did you know about Little Walter before? Did you get into a deep dive a long time ago, or did you prepare for this at all? It's all good if you haven't, because I got everything in front of me. I don't know anything about the guy, so I'm actually really fucking.
I listened to the Greatest Hits album that you picked recently, and I had known some about him, not a lot. I'm not an expert, but I had known and liked him. And I think I already had one of the songs on my phone. The first, the hit, My Babe, which is pretty famous. Now I have a theory about this. When I re-listen to it, I have a theory that he's talking. Now this is a fun game to play with any blues album.
What do you got?
That the album is talking about the same woman. That each song is like different moods, thinking about the same girlfriend. Because the first song, he's like, there's no way this girl cheats. It doesn't cross her mind. And it's happy and bouncy. And then, then it goes through, then this instrumental parts, the instrumental songs are just like these suspicions, just like suspicions that you can't give words to. And then it devolves and devolves and devolves. And then by the end of the album, do you realize he might not even be with her? Maybe they just hooked up. Maybe it's a pure fantasy. By the end of it, he's going like, who was that going out the back door when I was coming in the front? So I think the relationship has fallen apart, or his fantasy has fallen apart. That he thought, oh, she doesn't cheat. And then by the end of it, he's like, oh yeah, she does cheat. Or you could look at it like this. Like the beginning songs of the album is like the whole thing might be taunting a girlfriend, where he's like, this is how much I loved you. I thought you would never cheat. And then by the end of it, I realized, oh, somebody's going out the back door when you're coming in the front.
Ooh, dude. I love that you went deep into the meaning of this, even though this is a Greatest Hits. This is like his whole career. If you take the whole career and you lay it out, man.
Actually,
I also like I love that what you said about how it's the same woman, but it's like every blues singer would always they'd always sing about a girl. Was there ever, you think, like a gay blues singer?
Probably this would, and probably your listeners might jump in here with more knowledge than I do. About Little Richard's early career, how it was very gay music, right?
Kind of. I always thought he never was like out about it, right?
Yes,
but that's without being out.
Yes, but he went into that direction out of guilt, and like public guilt, because in his early career, before he was famous, the first hit was this is Little Richard. What's it called? Wop bop loo bop wop bom bom tutti frutti. All Rudy. Tutti Frutti is French. It's all gay, all fruity. Tutti Frutti, before they were famous, was their late night closer when they would close their show. That was a really bawdy song about fucking like a man fucking a man. And it was not a list of girls; it was a list of boys. And the record, they needed a B-side or something. And the record executive came in and said, that's a great song, but you need to change the lyrics to a girl because it's too scandalous for America. So
Sucky fucky, my ducky. Sucky fucky, my ducky.
Because it's the real original version was Tutti Frutti Good Booty. And so it was all about you know, how fucking different guys was fun in different ways. And sure, yeah, it was like a joke, but it was like that was like a joke that you had to know something to write that. And I don't know specifically if there's a blues song that you would call gay forward. You know, out of World War II, there's a Tommy Dorsey song with Frank Sinatra that I've always thought is very gay. You know, with it's called My Buddy. Have you ever heard it?
No.
There's some old timers that might disagree with me. That was a song between two guys who were just best friends. What are you talking about, pal?
Put it on. Get Jeremiah, find it, dude. I want to hear My Buddy.
My Buddy is a beautiful song, and it's like people shipping off, going to different, you know, one of them's getting shipped this way, one of them's getting shipped that way, and they're like, it's not just friends. I'm sorry, it's not just friends. The lyrics are like, I miss your voice and the cut of your hair. It's like a very physical and emotional longing and missing someone.
I like it because I miss the way I cup your balls.
Yeah,
in my head.
You got to remember, like, a lot of people did some things during the war that then they didn't do afterward.
I hope we don't get caught because I don't want to get discharged dishonorably.
I mean, a lot of people were thrown together in barracks all over the world, and things happened that they didn't want to have to be known after that. But don't
ask, don't tell, dude.
Yeah, that was. But that's actually a gap that I think would be very interesting. Would be if there was any sort of like Bobby the Closet Johnson.
You know, suck your dick backwards, put my nose inside your ass. I'm gonna suck your dick backwards, stick my nose inside your ass. I'm gonna
the back of my throat. It's gonna hit the front of your scrot.
I'm gagging on your dick. Tell me when you bust.
That's not bad, Josh. We got to jam that out.
I love that idea because every song is like, she's a devil woman, take my wallet and my cash. But it's never the gay version of it.
Yeah.
Like, you a sassy lady with your sassy little booty hole. I don't know. I could do this all day.
I got a masculine boy on the other side of town.
Jeremiah, do you have the song? Do you have?
Is it the Chet Baker? Who's the artist you said? I got Bing Crosby. I got Chet Baker, Mel Torme. All did My Buddy.
Oh, I know the Frank Sinatra version, but yes, it was a popular song covered by a lot of people.
Yeah, maybe it's the Chet Baker one.
There are probably some instrumental ones that don't have it.
I bet it's not. I don't think it would be Chet Baker. Chet Baker's like a famous like trumpet or it'll probably be a trumpet version. I've looked for this Frank Sinatra one.
He tells the ladies that he's the top. Wait, no, he tells the fellas that he's the top. But when we're together, it's his pants that drop. That would be a funny blues song. Would be who's the top and who's the bottom. in that original like Chicago style from the 50s.
Ball slapping on your ass.
It's so funny when you hear a lick from an album like this or Willie Dixon or something or Lead Belly and you're like, oh shit. You're like, oh right, that's where that Rolling Stones trick came from.
Sure. Oh, dude.
Or like literally that's a line that Robert Plant would just randomly scream in a Led Zeppelin song.
Dude, it's so funny. Like, because Burr and I, he's a huge Led Zeppelin fan, and we've talked about that many, many times, to the point where in the TV show F is for Family, and the radio station that my character is a DJ at, on the wall, there's like two guys that look like Plant and Page, and the title of their band is Lifted Riffs. So yeah, I mean, this is
as an inside joke.
Sure. I mean, but dude, it's like to the point where like I think like, not saying that Led Zeppelin is, like they still were masters of their craft and did what they did. And I mean, they did, it's, you could sit here and you could say that the White Stripes are just stealing blues, or this is stealing. It's all just out there, and you kind of just, that's your influence, and so you go. I mean, did Led Zeppelin, did Led Zeppelin take a lot of shit from Little Walter, like knowingly?
Not that I know of, but I think some of the harmonics, the harmonica stuff sounds like a lot of things that came after it, like a lot of harmonica styles that came after it, including the Rolling Stones. But this whole era of blues musicians was heavily influential and mostly stolen from unrecompensed. Occasionally they would win a lawsuit. When I think, am I right that Willie Dixon won a lawsuit against Led Zeppelin at some point?
I do think I've heard that.
Royalties.
Yeah. Jared, check that out. Check that out. Yeah. I know they have been sued, and I mean,
Little Walter invented the stage, the fucking stage thing, the stage method of playing the harmonica that we know, like that, you think of like a Rolling Stones doing it the same way, or Elwood Blues and the Blues Brothers,
Oh, dude, I mean, I have a list of some of the most famous harmonica players that people might not know. I mean, like when you talk about harmonica players, who do you think? Who do you think of? You think of Little Walter. You think of probably John Popper from Blues Traveler,
right?
Right.
You think of James Adomian.
James.
Oh,
wait, hold on. I got one.
Fuck, it's been a long time.
I got a tiny one though. That guy, my dog loves it. That guy.
I like that you said. It's
suck your dick backwards, stick my nose inside your ass.
I'm gonna suck your dick backwards.
I'm gonna suck your dick backwards.
Stick my balls, drain them all.
I'm gonna drain your balls and I put it in the. We'll go down. John Popper, Stevie Wonder, Bob Dylan, Sonny Boy Williamson. These are the greatest harmonica players. James Cotton, Toots Thielsman. Did you ever hear that? Big Mama Thornton. I love these. God damn, dude. Paul Butterfield. We've done Paul Butterfield Blues Band before on the show. But John Popper, so this is something because you have to control your breath when doing this. I don't know why he put this question up here. It says, have you ever almost passed out, had to bail mid-performance for an unusual reason? Have you ever, I guess this is something that John Popper almost did. Oh, he plays until he almost passes out. Have you almost done something on stage where you literally?
Yeah. For me, it's certain impressions like Alex Jones I will do to the point that it starts to give me a headache. And then I gotta stop and catch my breath. And then here's the thing. It really adds to the pressure because you have to get a huge laugh on stage to get the time from the audience to catch your breath. If I'm going to go out on the limb and do something where I run my breath out and I have to be for a few seconds, it has to have a huge crescendo of a laugh Or they're going to be like, what's this guy tired for?
Yeah. Oh my God. So Alex Jones, Bernie, do you ever get like worn out from like Bernie? Because there's a lot of like,
yeah, it's not. I mean, yes, I would, especially like I would do loud Bernie, you know, for far too long. There's like quiet Bernie where he's like, look, let's take a look at the numbers. And then there's loud Bernie, which is like, for far too long, we have failed to take a look at the numbers. And then, yes, so like if you do loud Bernie for more than 5 minutes, then you're like, okay, I'm actually just giving a speech now.
How is your Alex Jones? Like, what are you doing for Alex? Like, what are you?
Oh, it's way down there. Oh, it's way down there, like a garbage disposal. Like a garbage disposal. We've got the facts that were pushed into the bottom of the sink, and the garbage disposal is just going around. I mean, I can't. This is the thing. I can't do it at home because the neighbors. I could get that loud, and then I start getting complaints if I really do Alex Jones.
Have you gotten complaints from like neighbor complaints? I can imagine.
Yeah, that's why I had to stop doing my podcast during the pandemic because I couldn't record it at home because it's too loud. It's what I do is too loud for this place I live in.
But, are you still wait? Are you still in Los Feliz?
Oh yeah,
same spot you've always been in
since the beginning of time, baby.
Since yeah, when Rebecca Trent, I think was staying there a long time ago, and then I met her you were out of town. I think you were. This is a long time ago. So I think I've been.
Whoa.
No,
baby,
nothing happened.
Baby.
Nothing
Who was
happened.
that going out the back door when I was coming in the front?
Down this backward.
That's Josh Adamyers.
Dude, we should start a harmonica hand group because ours are great.
I love it.
Jeremiah, you got to do it. Come on.
Oh.
No, that wasn't very good, dude. It's like, come on, bro. All right, what are some things? Let's talk about little Walter. So little Walter,
he died kind of young, I think. Like he was only in his 30s or something.
Yes. So suffered from alcoholism and had notoriously short temper, which in the late 50s led to violent altercations, minor scrapes from the law, and increasingly irresponsible behavior. This led to a decline in his fame and fortunes beginning in the late 50s. Nonetheless, he toured Europe twice in 64 and 67. Long culminated story. He toured the United States with the Rolling Stones in 64. Wait, hold on. The long circulated story that he toured the United Kingdom with the Rolling Stones in 64 has been refuted by Keith Richards. Oh, so I guess there was like people thought he did, but he did not. The 67 European tour as part of the American Folk Blues Festival resulted in the only known film footage of Little Walter performing. It's just a few clips out there. Can you actually find that, Jeremiah? When you look,
which festival was that?
It says the 67 European or the American Folk Blues Festival.
Mm-hmm.
A few months after returning from the second European tour, Little Walter was involved in a fight while taking a break from a performance at a nightclub on the south side of Chicago. He apparently sustained only minor injuries in this altercation, but they aggravated the damage he suffered in previous violent encounters, and he died in his sleep at the apartment of a girlfriend early the following morning. The official cause of death on his death certificate was coronary thrombosis, a blood clot in the heart. Evidence of external injuries was so insignificant that the police reported that his death was due to unknown or natural causes, and no external injuries were noted on the death certificate. His body was buried in Illinois in Evergreen Park on February 22nd, 1960.
So that means he was bruised from fighting, and then the blood clot from a bruise went into his heart or something. That's rough.
That's like what happened to Saget, man. You know, like Bob Saget, like he bumped his head, and then he died that night or whatever. It's just like there's like such a minor thing. Yeah, dude, he died. He was 37 years old. Here's what's funny, and not to be at all like shitting on this guy whatsoever, but he's 37 in this picture, and it's just he looks like he's like 50 or 60 years old.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like he's
got fight scars in every photo that you could ever find of him. There's like fight scars on his face where you're like, this is a mean, tough guy.
Yeah. But virtuoso.
You know how I imagine Little Steven would always talk about the blues legends like this. Little Walter with part of the great blues trio in 1967 with the seminal album along with Willie Dixon and several others. But he's probably best known for his instrumental work, including the classic hit Juke.
That was really good, dude.
Early on, signing with Chess Records.
Who? All right, I got a question. I got a question for you before we get back into this. Who is it? What's an impersonation that you fucking nail that no one? It's literally wasted because you're like, no one fucking knows this guy.
Well,
but I mean,
radio guys. I could do a lot of radio guys. Like little Steven is probably in that vein, where it's like, they want. What does he say? And Keith Richards had recorded the guitar track merely as a demonstration, planning for there to be a horn section that would play it later on. The other members of the band disagreed and said the guitar track demo was good enough to release as the basis of the single itself. So they put it to a vote. Keith Richards still wanted to have a horn section brought in to re-record the guitar track, but unfortunately for him, he lost the vote. And that's fortunate for us because that song was Satisfaction.
Here's the thing though, James, is that there's the underlying Silvio still voice from The Sopranos. So that's actually one that I think people know. Like what's a guy that you're like, I nail this guy's voice so hard and no one it's being wasted. Do you know what I mean? Like,
well,
I'm the guy, the pitching coach from the movie Major League. You know, the guy's like, Dorn, give him the heater. Like that guy, like,
yeah,
no one knows.
Okay, look, I know a bunch of specific movie roles from my family had family favorite movies and shit. So I know all the memorable quotes from the movie Gettysburg and Henry V and all these movies like that. You know,
yeah.
What's his name? Lawrence Chamberlain. What's his name? Who was in Dumb and Dumber? Jeff Daniels.
Jeff Daniels,
in the same year he was in Dumb and Dumber, he was in Gettysburg, playing the Union colonel who saved the country during the Battle of Gettysburg.
Okay,
with a heroic stand on Little Round Top. And there's a moment, where they've held out against like 7 or 8 Confederate attacks, and they're out of bullets. They have no more bullets left, and they're like, "Sir, we've got to pull out." And he's doing this thick Maine accent, and he's like, "No, we can't do that." He's got a big, dumb, blonde mustache. "No, we can't pull that. We pull out, and they go up over the hill, and that's the whole damn thing. Then we lose the war, and the country's gone. Well, we don't have bullets. There's no ammunition. We can't. If we stay and fight, we'll be swamped. And if we pull out, then they'll win. So I guess there's no choice but to fix bayonets." And then the music starts, and they're like, "Bayonets, sir?" "That's right. We'll order a bayonet charge. We'll have the advantage of going downhill." See, I'm laughing, but you're not. This is a perfect so I don't do this. I know the fucking bayonets.
That was so great, though. I was actually quite interested. I was like, "Wait, how they win that?"
Then what happens?
Next time you have 5 hours, rewatch Gettysburg.
I mean, I'm still trying to get through Lonesome Dove, bro. So I fucking know what you're talking about. Little Walter was chosen for the inaugural class of the Blues Hall of Fame, and in 2008, he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Duke was also inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame in 2008. LBW had 14 top 10 hits on the Billboard R&B charts between 52 and 58, including 2 #1 hits, second being My Babe in 55, a level of commercial success never achieved by Walters or by his fellow chess blues artist Howlin' Wolf and Sonny Boy Williamson II.
Howlin' Wolf and Sonny Boy Williamson. Did they say My Babe was his second chronologically his second hit?
Second being, his second number 2 hit.
And what was the first one?
I don't know. It doesn't say it here, but
Juke is a good song.
I mean, dude, I think this album is phenomenal. This was
Do you get to play any of the songs, or are you not allowed to?
I have some of them pulled up. Yeah, I got Juke.
Well, I mean, are you allowed to play
a little
them
bit
on
of
the
it?
podcast, or do you have to like get the rights to that or something?
You just have to critique or comment on it, as opposed to just playing it like the music or
That's
something.
it?
You know?
Oh, good. You've heard this song 500 times. You've heard this song in movies. You've heard this song like on the radio. It's a song you know. It's just shy of a hit, like a hit that we still remember. You know what I mean? I love the instrumental stuff too. Some of the happiest songs are the instrumental ones. Well, some of the sad ones too. But this is just a good damn song. The harmonica's singing. There's a song
It
there.
is.
The harmonica's the one singing.
Yeah, just that opening riff.
Yeah.
You hear it.
Music journalist Joe Dahl described Little Walter as king of all post-war blues harpists, who took the humble mouth organ in dazzling amplified directions that were unimaginable prior to his ascendancy. His legacy has been enormous. He is widely credited by blues and historians as the artist primarily responsible for establishing the standard vocabulary for modern blues and blues rock harmonica players. Brian Jones, Mick Jagger, and Eric Clapton are among those who later studied his technique and helped popularize it. I mean, this is like, this is the basis for so much rock and roll that came after it. This is the only time we're going to talk about him on the 500. Well, it's crazy. Like, what number is this? This is all the way. This is number 198. Yeah, I mean, this is like this is a fucking, you know how many albums this is before, like, or after, whichever way we want to do it. I mean, it's important.
You know, man, that you mentioned Mick Jagger, the Midnight Rambler. It sounds like I mean, you can hear the harmonica on that song, and it sounds a lot like Little Walter. What is the list of 500? Is it some number?
It's Rolling Stone magazine's list of the 500 greatest albums.
And you're counting down?
Oh yeah, dude.
You're counting down.
Counting down from 500 all the way down. We've done 300, and this is the 303rd episode.
You see that? You hear the influence there. That technique was just Little Walter basically harping his own name. He would go, Walter. Little Walter.
Let's see. Do we have anything else about this guy that we got to mention, Jer, that we're missing?
No, I think he said, I mean, I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on who he is. Maybe not the Jimi Hendrix, but like with all his bad, I mean, altercations, fight scars, all that stuff. Like, I don't know. He's just a badass from the 50s, basically.
Yeah, he's from Louisiana, I think, right? Like New Orleans or around there.
Yeah, he was born in Marksville, Louisiana. No birth certificate. He was born without one. Isn't that crazy? Yep. Quit school by the age of 12. Odd jobs, busking the streets in New Orleans, which that's such a great town. Like you could just
he was like, I would like to major in the blues, please. I have a self-designed major in the blues.
You know, I like, this was not a fucking hard listen. I've said this already, but I mean, this was like something really great background music, great. Just, you know, I don't know how much more of him I'm gonna listen to or like dig into, but I'm glad that this came up. And I think a lot of
those guys are the Little Walter, and then those other guys from Chess Records like Howlin' Wolf and stuff. Good for a road trip, good for traveling, good to have on, good to have around, you know.
Yeah.
And also, if you're writing a movie, those are great songs to put. I mean, that's not going to be an inexpensive song to get into a movie soundtrack, but
oh god, dude. I think probably at this point it's domain. Like you can just public domain. I think you can just use 50s? It. I don't know.
It's gonna get there. I guess we're in the it depends on if it's 70 or 100 years. Oh well.
Who cares? Here's what we can do. We can just I'll give them a couple $100. They'll be fine.
I have one page from the Rolling Stones and Led Zeppelin and just take it.
Yeah. What do you got, Joe?
2020 Tony's first single. The debut single is called Little Walter. I know. In the 80s.
It feels good.
Yeah, that's the only song I know by them. Walter was portrayed by comedian Sinbad in the video, who was portraying Oscar Oakes on Cosby Show spinoff A Different World.
Oh, Sinbad. Big ups to him. I hope he's doing well, man. He's still recovering from that.
Oh my God, yeah. He had a stroke, right?
He had a bad stroke, yeah. He really had a bad stroke
because he's a strong guy.
He survived it, but man, it's a long road to recovery. So, and that's especially from a guy like him who's so like, you know, big on stage and powerful, and just to see like, you know, he was like, they didn't show him for a while, and then they just showed him recently. They did a couple benefits for him, and I mean, it's like he's getting better. That's what I'm gonna say. It's just good to see that he's getting better. But it's like, damn, man, that really fucked him up.
Sinbad was one of the funniest comics that I would see as a kid. Like he was so famous. He was so famous that even like I was like a 8 or 9 year old kid when I first saw him. You would see him on TV when you were a child, and you know how big a comedian has to be for a kid to see them randomly on TV and stuff. He was so funny. I still remember some of the jokes. Some of the filthy jokes and stuff. And he was so fucking funny. He was iconic, and he still is. So
he really is.
Always, always the best to Sinbad.
Always.
Him up.
Yeah. Dude, this was great. Let's do our final questions and get you out of here. We definitely have you back, man. It's always fun having you on. What's your favorite? I'm going to speak to you all in harmonica. Sure.
What was you're mentioning John Popper from Blues Traveler. There was a fucking 3-year period where he was on TV. Any half hour of television you would watch, there was an ad for something that had him in it. And then they disappeared. And it's like the Mandela effect, where you're like, what happened to Blues Traveler? And they're like, Blues Traveler? There was never a Blues Traveler. Get out of here. The window's closed.
They were everywhere, dude. They really were, man. Suck it in, suck it in, suck it in. If you're in Tintin or in Berlin, making me move and get you in, and then begin to see what you do to me. This MTV is not for me. I ain't saying it, don't mind him, but anyway. I think what happened was he lost weight, and then that was it. Like nobody gave a fuck about him.
They were like, no. We needed a fat act.
Yeah, we need a fat. Get out of here. There's nothing cool about a skinny harp player. You know what I mean? You better fucking chunk it up, bro. Sorry, I'm sorry. You're trying to like extend your life, but we can't have it. We need. All right, what's your favorite song on this record, brother?
Well, I'll say it again. I love Juke. I'm a sucker for a good instrumental song.
Love a good Juke.
I was re-listening to this a couple nights ago, and because I was like, yeah, this is going to be a good one, and I put on the album. And I wasn't even intending to, but I heard it and I was like, oh, fuck yeah. And I just was like, all right, pause this. I'm going to need a bottle of wine. I drank a bottle of wine and listened to the album. It's perfect for that.
I agree. Wine, opiates. There's a lot that can go with blues, slow blues. What's your least favorite song on the record?
Damn, that's a tough one. Let me think here. Well, they're all catchy, so it's like naming a really catchy good song as like my least favorite. But like I will say this: You Better Watch Yourself sounded like it could have been construed as a violent threat. That was the one that it sounded most sick. It's a great song, but it sounds the most psychotic and perhaps like a violent threat, you know.
Yeah.
And from a guy who ended up dying before he turned 40, dying of fighting. And there's a song called You Better Watch Yourself. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't after party with a guy like that. You go to the show, not after party with a guy like that.
No. Can you fuck to this record?
Absolutely. Try me.
Suck your dick backwards.
Yeah.
Stick my nose.
Okay, we gotta remember that. That's funny.
What would be your elevator pitch to get someone to listen to this record? Like how do you say to somebody that's never heard of Little Walter? What do you say to get them to listen to it?
It's like extremely listenable. How do I say this? It's extremely listenable, catchy, dancey blues music from the late 50s that it has a much higher sound quality than you would think from that time. And it sounds like a great movie soundtrack. And it's great for many moods and occasions.
I agree.
Or road trips.
I think this is because that's how I first listened to it. I listened to it on a drive, and it seamlessly just fit the landscape on my drive to Massachusetts. So yeah, man, I'm glad this came up, and I'm glad we got to sit down and talk about this. Dude, I love you. So please come back. This was so much fun, dude. One more time. When is the special out now?
Yeah, the special's out now on 800 Pound Gorilla. It's called Path of Most Resistance. And September 19th is the wide release to rent and to buy and to stream. But it's out now on the website. And it's the info's on the 800 Pound Gorilla Media.com, and it's also on jamesadomian.com. Path of Most Resistance. And I'm gonna I don't know when this airs, but I'm gonna be in New York next week. So maybe I'm just there for a couple days, but maybe I'll see you. I'm doing a show on the 25th.
I'll see it. I'm here. I'm gone, Thursday through Saturday. I'll be back Sundays through Wednesdays. But yeah, dude, I'd love to see you. And this comes out on Wednesday. So we'll promote the shit out of it. And when the special comes out, we'll give it a shout out.
Wednesday?
It comes out Wednesday. You got anything else you want to promote?
Sunday, August 25th. Yeah, I'm at the Branded Saloon in New York.
Oh, perfect. Oh, nice. Dude, that's awesome. I'm going to swing by. All right. I love you, buddy. This is so great.